Hey guys, Pips here, co-founder of PropsMadness. This will be another episode focused on our filters, and I will walk you through 4 different examples. We'll start with the best game on the schedule, Thunder and Cleveland Cavaliers, two of the best teams in the league, playing one against another. Let's first look at matchup for Donovan Mitchell. When we look at his minutes, we can see that he is playing between, we'll say, 28 and 38 minutes most of the games. So we'll use that as a filter. When we look at this, we can see that he averaged 24 points and he hit over more often than not. But we need to also include games where he played with best players, Garland, Mobley, and Jarrett Allen. And we can see that his average drops to the 23.6, but this is still over the line. But he has a tough matchup today. First off, let's focus on similar players. As we can see, similar players only covered in 2 out of 10 games against the Oklahoma City Thunder. Players like Jalen Brunson, Anthony Edwards, Tyrese Halliburton, Luka Doncic, Fox, Trae Young, and Jamal Murray stayed under the line, and they averaged 25% of the points less than their closing lines. We can see that Donovan Mitchell is scoring most of his points as a pick and roll ball handler, 36, and you can see that Oklahoma City Thunder is third best in the league. His second most dominant way of scoring is transition, where Oklahoma ranks as second best, which shows that this is a very difficult matchup for his scoring. On the shooting map, he scores 49% of his points with above the break 3, and Thunder are second best in defending that zone. And now let's go to our filters. He's scoring most of his points as a pick and roll ball handler. So let's exclude the bottom 5 teams against pick and roll ball handler, because those are the easiest matchups he had entire season. It moves a bit, and then let's just exclude the worst defensive team, as we can see that Thunders are ranked as the best defense in the league. So if we exclude bottom 10 defensive teams in the league, we can see now that he hit this only in 2 games out of 8 and averaged 19.3 points. Second example will be in the same game. We are just going to the Evan Mobley, and let's look at the games when all the best players are playing: Donovan Mitchell, Darius Garland, and Jarrett Allen. And for this one, we can look that and see that Evan Mobley scores most of his points from the paint, and we can see when we select points allowed in the paint filter that Thunder's rank as the number 1 defense of the paint. They allow the least points in the paint. So when we use the filter and filter out the worst teams in the paint, we can see that currently he averaged 50-50 overs and unders on this line. But when we remove bottom 12 teams, every team that's below average on paint defense, we get that he is under this line in 11 out of 17 games, average 17.4 points. But if you go to look like when he's playing top 8 teams, that goes even further, and we can see that he's under this line in 6 out of 7 games, average only 15.1 points. Also, he scores 64% at the rim. We can see that Thunder ranked as the third best rim defense. He scores a lot of his points through transition, and we can see that Thunder are second best defense. So another tough matchup for our players. For our third example, let's go to the Pistons game, and now we are going to look at Tobias Harris. When we look at this graph, we can see that he is exactly 50-50 on this line, averaging 13.9 points. But first, let's go open the filters and look at the minutes. We can see the last 4 games he's playing 37, 34, 36, 35. Pretty consistent minutes. So let's look at the games when he is playing between 30 and 40 minutes. We can see that he hit the over in 15 out of 23 and averaged 15.7 points. So that already looks like a good lean on the over, but we need to dig a bit further. Let's look at his scoring ways. He's scoring most of his points as a spot up, and we can see that the Nets are bottom of the league in defending spot up, 25th, and they allow 6th most spot up points. So let's open the filters. Opponent's defensive rec against dominant player type. That's the spot up. Take out the best 7 teams against spot up. And now we can see that it improved. His points average moved to 16, and he hit this in 12 out of 17 games. But we can go even further now, looking at the dominant shooting zone, and that's a restricted area. Most of his points come from the restricted area. So let's look how Nets defend the restricted area. They are below average, ranked 23rd, so they allowed 8 most points at the rim. So let's look at how he scores when he is playing bottom 10 rim defensive teams. So let's go like this. And now we can see that he is over this line in 10 out of 12 games, averaging big 17.6 points per game, which is way more than the current line set at 13.5. And for the last game, we are going to Toronto Raptors to check the data for Scottie Barnes. You can see that this season he was covering this line in more games than not, but we can now see that team is healthy, everyone is ready to play. So let's check how he performs when the entire team is healthy. Top 4 scorers: Barrett, Grady Dick, Jacob, and Quickly. And we can see that he played only one game with all of them, and that was the last game of the season, and he had 31% usage. We are going to explain how to use usage and how to show it on a bigger sample size. Let's now remove Quickly, who played in the last game, and we can see that without Quickly, he had usage always set between 26, 25%, 22%, 23%. So we can see that usage has been really consistent. But in the last game with Quickly, his usage went up. I think that's outlier, but we can check the last season when he played with same players, and we can see that it was 24, 22, 25, 30, 25, 24. So overall, it's mostly between 22 and 28% usage. So now let's go back to this and remove everyone and just set the usage between 22% and 28%. And put the minutes up to 28 or more. And now we can see that he covered this line in 9 out of 11 games, averaging 22.1. And when we look at the Knicks, he scores most of his points as a pick and roll ball handler and in transition. They are below average transition defense, and they are the worst pick and roll ball handler defense. He scores most of his points at the rim, and that's the weakest area of Knicks defense. When we ignore the corners, which is always a small part of scoring, but they allow above average points at the rim. And as we can see, he scores most of his points here. So this is a good matchup. So this line is lean on over. And that's it for this video. Thank you for watching. Please like and comment below what do you want to see in the next one.